Hi everyone and welcome to lesson 1 of our new class reader, which this term I've chosen as Noughts and Crosses by Mallory Blackman. Now before we start reading, the first thing I'd like you to do is try and make some predictions about what you think this story might be about. And to do that, we're going to take a look at the front cover. So this is the front cover for the most recent edition of the story. I'd like you to look at that and see what clues you can find in there that might give you some insight as to what this book might be about. Now you can discuss that with the person at your table or your teacher or your teaching assistant, that's absolutely fine, but I want you to just take a minute to pause the video now and note down any predictions you have about what this story might be about. Okay, so you should have noted down what you think this book might be about. A few things sprung to mind when I first read this book, although this wasn't actually the cover that it had when I initially read it. So one of my first predictions was this might be a book around race, and I think that's indicated pretty clearly from the picture. Not only about race, but potentially about love. The two characters there seem like they're in a pretty intimate relationship. So I'm thinking this might be a book about two people who maybe are in love but aren't allowed to be in love. Those were kind of my initial predictions. I was initially really confused by the actual title. That didn't give me any sort of clue or help at all. Interestingly, when we read the blurb at the back, this is what Mallory Blackman describes the book as kind of being about in summary. Seffi Hadley and Callum McGregor have been friends since childhood, and they both know that's as far as it can go. Theirs is a world full of racism, fear, and mounting violence, where noughts and crosses are fated to be enemies. So a couple of things there about the racism theme coming through, but also about the two central characters who we've now discovered are called Seffi and Callum not being allowed to be together. Then, against all the odds, these star-crossed lovers choose each other. But this is a love story that will lead them both into terrible danger. Now, one thing really struck me about that line: where have we heard the phrase star-crossed lovers before? Think about that. We've studied this previously. Where have we heard that before? Take a little moment to discuss. Hopefully, you've recognised that that is from William Shakespeare's play Romeo and Juliet. So straight away, we're getting lots and lots and lots of crossover. This is going to be a book about racism, about love, about friendship, about boundaries, and also the last part in line there, terrible danger. So this is going to be an exciting novel, we hope. And I'll be reading to you from the prologue and the first chapter in just a moment.